Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader, and before we get started, we'll need to run through our risk disclosure. Just going to briefly share that with everyone, just to remind everyone that the content that's being distributed by the Market Trader is to be used as general information only. None of the information provided or contained herein is a solicitation to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any future security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the news portal and take a look here and see what kind of news we have today that could impact the markets. Well, we already received some. Okay, so we've received the PPI reports year over year, month over month, core PPI year over year, month over month, as of about I don't know 6-7 minutes ago. Okay, looks like those reports have come in favorably. And I'm kind of looking at the ticker here a little bit, and looks like that was kind of received favorable reports, yet the market has kind of reacted at least negatively, at least to start here. Okay. Now, what do we have ahead of us? Well, we still have a couple of other reports in the horizon here. We have our Chicago Chicago PPI coming in at 8:30 Eastern time. And then we have our construction spending month over month coming in at 10 a.m. Both giving this kind of golden or yellow kind of rating, indicating that that it still has some potential of impacting the markets. And then we have a speaking engagement for Trump here coming in at 1 p.m. today. Obviously, that will have some impact on, has the potential of impacting the markets. Okay. So it is Friday. It is the end of the week. So hopefully everyone has had a relatively good week. Today is obviously not the day to try to recoup anything that we may have lost over the week in one day necessarily, right? And if we've had a good week, it probably is not a week that we want to be super aggressive, okay? Or a day, I should say, super aggressive. All right, let's go ahead now and turn our attention over to the charting platform, and we'll take a look here and see what kind of context we can kind of pull for the markets here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. We'll shut down some of these indicators here just to make this kind of as much of a pure chart as I can here. And we'll go ahead and start with the gold market like we normally do. And we'll start with the daily chart. And the daily chart again continues to show continuing its path to the upside, kind of grinding its way higher. We did get an open back inside this area of range that we've been in of late. Let's see. Yeah, just kind of confirming that there you go. All right. Sorry, guys. I just kind of lost my window here a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So like I was saying, we are still inside this area. We see that we are kind of been ranging here of late. We remain above some of all our moving averages that we care about, right? So indicating that we still are relatively in a bullish move here. Now, again, we are not seeing the kind of moves that we've seen in the past, right? This seems more of a natural kind of market here, right? Kind of grinding, kind of staircasing our way higher. So, but nonetheless, it's a market that still appears to be kind of working its way bullish here. Now, I hesitate to say 100% bullish because we have the most immediate area here that we still need to get above. So this 5,400 level or 5,475, 5,800 level could still prove to be a resistance zone, and we could see that sellers potentially step back into this market. Now, maybe we are in the beginnings of some sort of ascending triangle, or maybe some sort of diagonal symmetric pattern here that could indicate we could remain in this area for a period of time. Okay, because we have obviously since the beginning of the year here. Okay, we made a pretty parabolic move. Okay, up until the end of January, in which we kind of took a pretty serious sell-off here to the downside, only to reinvigorate, I guess, this move that we made to the up, our bullish move here. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Excuse me. We're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance range here. And again, kind of like what we were saying earlier, right? We've of late, it seems like the market has been in some sort of range, some sort of balance area, right? And really no strong directional move in either direction. I take a look at the ADX, or sort of DMI here. You can see that we got a little bit of a spike here on the DMI here, specifically on the positive DI, right? That we got a little bit of a spike here on this most recent move. Our ADX momentum indicator is registering in the 30s, so it's telling us that we're relatively in a strong, relatively strong move here to the upside. Okay, looking at volume delta is still to the positive side. Okay, so we're getting positive interest here in this market. But again, like I mentioned earlier, market does appear to be in some sort of range. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, more of the same. We're going to go ahead and take a look here at the initial balance ranges for the various markets. I'm going to go ahead and extend this area here because we got another test of this area at 5185, 5186. That area has been supportive in the past, and we got another retest of that same area. And again, we found some buyers there. Okay, so we retested that area in the overnight. That area has been now tested not once, twice. It's been tested a third time, and in each occurrence, we found some buyers in that area. And the most recent touch actually generated a much more aggressive bullish move. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and take a look at the fixed range volume profile and kind of get a sense of where we stand on the where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. And you can see that price is indeed above. Okay, so above price. So again, I'm just kind of marking levels of interest here. Okay, so this area, right, I'm going to go ahead and leave in blue, but this area, should we come back to it, could offer us a location, right, where we could see price continue to the upside. Okay, so this area here around 5206, 5200 does appear to be an area of some support on the bullish side. So while we are kind of working our way, our bearish candle here, I would expect maybe over the course of the session here that this area may again get retested in the future and could offer us maybe another opportunity to participate in this market to the upside. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here at the initial balance ranges across the various sessions. Again, trying just to kind of gauge kind of what the overall sentiment of the market is. Again, you can see here in Tokyo, right, Asia session, that we were pretty much range bound. We couldn't get above this 5213, 5214 level, and we couldn't get below this 5187 level. We just remained in the range. Taking a look at the London appears to have maybe provided us maybe an opportunity here to the upside. It sure did, right? We got a nice little start of a range here, and then we found some aggressive buyers in this market. I don't know, maybe some of this might be a little bit news driven, okay? But nonetheless, we got a pretty strong move prior to the open of the market, and now we're kind of working our way through this candle here, I guess, retesting the conviction of these buyers here. Okay, so it'll be interesting, okay, over the course of the session here, if one other level that I'm going to kind of mark here as maybe another area of opportunity is I'm going to mark this area that was prior resistant. Now it's going to serve as maybe an area of support, and this area is around 52.16. Okay, this prior area of resistance that this candle has managed to get through. So if we are indeed in some sort of bullish, maybe the beginnings of a bullish trend, I would expect that this level would hold, this 52.15, 52.16. That would be a reasonable area, right? If it's not the value area high from yesterday's range, it'll be this area here, right around the 52.16 level, the area that was recently resistant, now becoming some level of support. Looking at the DMI, you can see that we got a nice little reading here to the upside, indicating that we've gotten some strength here to the upside. Our momentum is showing some signs that we are in maybe a relatively strong move here to the upside. So again, we have our areas. I'm going to maybe go ahead and open up visible range volume profile here, but I don't think that's going to tell us all that much that we already know. So yeah, settlement price is lower. Okay, so we could get maybe settlement that could offer us maybe another location for price to come back to. So all these areas that I mentioned, the 52.16 prior area of resistance becoming support, value area high, and settlement offer us nice logical locations for to participate in this market to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and open up the initial balance range for the current session and see what kind of range is developing here. Okay, not for the overnight, but for the regular session. Okay, so relatively normal range that we're getting at the moment. Okay, so we still need another candle to establish this range. I'm looking to the left here and seeing if there's anything that could stand in the way of further price action. And sure enough, we have some resistance here at 52.60. So this area, at least initially, has shown that there is some resistance up in this area here. So we're going to go ahead and mark this area above. Okay, right around this area, just at the edge of initial balance high, as an area of some resistance. Okay, so we have our support zones, we have our resistance zones. We'll have to wait and see how this initial balance kind of plays out over the course of the next 30 minutes here, and see what kind of range that we establish in this market. Okay, at which point we can then potentially make a decision if the market decides to maybe rotate back and continue this kind of triangle pattern that we've been in of late, and rotate back to some of these areas and continue in this kind of range, kind of price action that we've seen of late in the gold. So I'm going to go ahead while I am seeing some signs of maybe some bullish price action here. I do see that we have been in some sort of range here of late. So unless we can kind of break some of this structure here above, then I would say that maybe I'm going to go with a neutral to bullish kind of rating here in the gold market. But I would say that we probably need to continue to focus on the edges, on the range, on the extremes of this market to look for opportunity. We want to stay away from the middles of this market, because that's where kind of all the balance kind of trading goes, and that's not necessarily an area that a trader will thrive in, right? We want to be a part of opportunity swings, right? So if we want to be a part of a swing, let's wait for locations where we could anticipate our participants that drive markets to re-engage. Okay, and that would be in the extremes of these markets. All right. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the silver market. All right, take a look at the silver market. We're going to go through the same kind of analysis that we just did here for the silver that we did for the gold. Okay, now we did open inside. Now, what's maybe a little bit different than what we've been seeing in the gold market, we are working our way above the most recent highs that we made in this market. So this has given us maybe a little bit more of an indication that we are maybe a little bit stronger trend in the silver than the gold. Okay, so if I open up my moving averages expectation is going to be the same, that we are above. Now this one we're above our 200, 100, 50, and looks like our 20 is moving above our 9. Okay, and I'm trying to understand what this one is here. Let's turn this off here. Okay, so there's our 9. Our 9 is kind of moving above our 20, and we do see that our 20 is kind of moving, probably being influenced by this candle that we received back in January here. Okay, but nonetheless, we're starting to see that price is above all these levels, kind of giving us the indication that maybe we are in the beginnings of maybe a bullish trend forming in the silver market. Okay, moving into the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, I'm just going to go ahead and open up the visible range just to kind of get a sense here of where price is in relation. Now you can see that the visible range here, that depending on the number of candles here that I show, okay, you can see that we are either in balance, okay, imbalance, or above, right? So we are above this area of value. So indicating, and then we have kind of, I don't know if you guys can make this out on the, but we have kind of a secondary, kind of a double distribution here. Okay. So we have a large distribution here down around 77, and then a secondary one here around 87.40, and we're above both. Okay. So kind of giving us an indication that we are still relatively in a bullish trend of forming in the silver. Okay. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart, we're going to go ahead and take a look. We got, again, this candle here that does appear to be somewhat news driven, maybe as a result of some of the news that we talked about earlier. We got a little spike here on the DMI indicator, and we had some momentum kind of follow through here to the upside of late. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and take a look at the fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and turn off our visible range profile here for a moment, and we're just going to focus in on yesterday's session and see where price is in relation to yesterday's session. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead here and locate yesterday's session here and take a look. Locate this right about there. Drag that across to here. Okay, then you can see that price is well above this area of value that we established yesterday. Okay, so again, similar to what we discussed last time, I would expect that if price were to come back down to 87, let's say 87.90, okay, that this would be an area of some support. We also have settlement also in that same vicinity. So I would expect this area to be somewhat supportive. Okay, this area down below to be somewhat supportive. So we're going to go ahead and mark that in green. So 88 down to 87.40. I would expect to be somewhat levels of support. Now, question is, are we going to make it down to that level? Okay. The next level that I'm willing to draw based on kind of what I'm seeing and this result of this price action, I would say that this area right here is another kind of around the 90 level, appears to be another area of support, assuming that this is institutional buying, right? So if price were to come back down to the 90 level, that would be another location where we could maybe participate to the long side. Now, I'm looking here to the left-hand side now and seeing if there's anything on the left-hand side that could pose some concern. Well, we don't see anything as far as a resistance zone. We just closed above, or working our way above this area here, okay? And assuming that we can stay above that level, well, it looks like we have pretty clear sailing all the way up to at least 100, okay? All the way up to at least 100 before we start to see some resistance in price, okay? So if we are to participate in this market, I would say that we need to see if we can buy some weakness, okay? If to the bullish side, right? So we've already kind of identified the 90 level as that area. We're going to go ahead now and take a look at the initial balance range across the various sessions. It does appear that Asia was, for the most part, well, actually Asia and London was for the most part neutral, right? So we'll just leave it at that, right? Neutral, right? Up until the news event, and at which point we received some interest to the bullish side. Okay, So with that, I would say kind of for silver, given this bullish candle that we've received of late, and I think overall probably slightly a little bit more bullish than maybe the gold market. We're gonna give this one it's a bullish kind of rating for now. Okay, and but it's not to say that we are looking to participate at these highs here. That we need to continue to wait for opportunities, and I would say that the first opportunity in this market either is the area that we just mentioned around the 90 level, or we can maybe focus our attention here around the 9 EMA, which will put us around 91, and then we have VWAP even lower back to that 90 level. So the first opportunity I would say to maybe entertain maybe a continuation trade in this market would be about 91.20. Okay, 91.20 is kind of the area that I would be focusing on the silver. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the crude oil market. Crude oil market actually has been a little bit more lively of late. Okay, so again, you can see that we received a pretty serious candle on the wick side yesterday. Right, we got candle to come down to the 63.50 level, and it found some support and has not shied since. Okay, now we have a candle that's kind of breaking some structure here to the upside. We've been relatively bearish, I think, for the most part in this market. Okay, and now we're starting to see some signs of some market structure that maybe is returning to the bullish side. Okay, so we have a developing candle that again is potentially going to make a new high here today. Looking at the volume delta, we're seeing some strong participation, 40,000 more buy orders than sell orders here at the moment. And if we're taking a look at the DMI, the DMI is still not giving us the indication of direction here, but we're starting to see that maybe that the positive is starting to firm up here and maybe move from a market that's been in kind of a range to a market that potentially can move into a trend. Okay, so some bullish indications here above all our moving averages here. So daily is starting to look a bit more bullish than of late. Take a look at the 4-hour. Here we are. We have a series of 3 solid candles here to the upside with increasing volume here. You can see increasing volume on the volume delta side. Some separation that's kind of developing here in the DMI as well. Again, giving us some indication that there is some momentum maybe behind this move here. Assuming that this current candle can stay above, then I would say that this area right here, let's see if I can locate that right around this level here. Let's see, right about here will serve as some area of some support, right? So right around the 67 level, okay, would be kind of an area that I would maybe focus in on for maybe a little bit of opportunity. Okay, that's the next most recent logical area to participate. Okay, taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Again, a lot of bullish price action. Okay, maybe a tad parabolic, to be honest, right? Probably maybe a beginning to question sort of how sustained this kind of move is going to be before we see some sort of pullback. But nonetheless, we can see that the market is quite bullish. Okay, taking a look at the fixed range volume profile from yesterday, and you can see that price is well above. Okay, should finish this off here. Well above the market. Okay, so this again, this area here around 66, 65. This could offer us again another secondary location to participate to the downside. Some natural pullbacks, right? Some natural retracements for us to entertain, maybe to potentially participate in this move that we're seeing to the upside. Okay. Volume seems to be in order. The DMI is also in order. We're getting a ADX reading of 50, which is quite strong. So let's take one peek here of the initial balance across the various ranges. We'll take a look here at, we'll start off with the Asia market. So Asia market was bullish. Okay, we got a nice bullish move here. And then London is no surprise, also providing us a nice move here to the upside as well. Okay, where's London? There it is. Okay. So a lot of buyers in this market. Now, are we overdue? I would say maybe for a little bit of a retracement. We've been in a pretty sustained move here to the upside. So it would not surprise me in a bit if we maybe retraced here a little bit. And that's again, I'm not going to chase this market to the upside. If I'm going to participate in this market, I do need to see some level of retracement in order for me to participate in. So again, I have my levels marked, and it's just a matter of me now being patient and disciplined to let price come to my levels, at which point I could potentially participate here around 67 or this let's say 66.70 seems to be the two areas that I would be focusing on the crude oil market. Okay. All right. Before we move on to the equity markets, guys, just want to pause here for a moment and again encourage folks to if they're not already subscribers of this session, I'd encourage you to do so. If you have not already, maybe hit a like. Please do that as well. Again, this is kind of the way that I can continue to provide this content to you guys on a daily basis. So if you have not hit the like button, I'd encourage you to do so. And if you feel so inclined, then I would also encourage you to maybe leave a comment or two on the portal. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look here at the NASDAQ. All right. Looking at the NASDAQ. Okay. We're going to go ahead and start with a daily. So again, more of the same. Okay. I think a market that seems to be a little bit in a little bit of pressure here, I would say. Over the last maybe 4 days, we've kind of been in some sort of range. We're starting to see that price is kind of making its way below some of these moving averages that we care about. The only moving average that we have yet to kind of entertain is the 200 moving average. Okay, so this area here around 24,665 has been an area of support. However, we closed the day yesterday relatively bearish, and we opened today with another candle that seems to have left a little bit of a gap to the downside. Okay, so we are seeing maybe a little bit of maybe some bearish participation in this market. And the fact that we got a little bit of a gap is kind of giving me the indication that maybe there is some interest, continued interest here to the downside. Okay. In some cases, they're willing to pay a premium to be a part of it. Okay. Looking at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, we'll go ahead and turn off our initial balance range here for a moment. Looking at sort of kind of like, again, just kind of looking at the most recent structure here. Okay. So if we're looking just at the most recent structure, you can see that the market has been in some sort of bearish structure here of late. Now, are we coming into some areas, right, that could provide maybe some support? Yes, but we've been at this area a number of times. Right. So we got a nice little rally here on Wednesday. Thursday came and we basically rotated a lot of the gains that the bulls made on Wednesday. So kind of indicating to us that we are still very much in some sort of range here. Right. We have 25,500 on the upside, and we have 24,400 on the downside, with a maybe intermediate level at 24,600. Okay. So market has been right in some sort of range. Again, I'm able to contain price in a box. We've been in this box. Okay. In the NASDAQ. All right. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay. We're going to see what kind of interest we've gotten over in the overnight here. We'll start off with our initial balance ranges across the various sessions. And you can see that London, right, is bearish, continues to be bearish. Asia, not quite as bearish, more neutral. Okay. Asia was neutral. London was not. London was bearish. Okay. So taking a look at let's see what I want to open up here. Fixed range volume profile here, okay, just to get a sense of where price is based on yesterday's price action here. And you can see that we are at the low end, actually exceeded the low end of the range. Okay, so here we are inside some bearish structure in this market. So I'm going to go ahead and extend this line. This line right here should be an area that we remain supportive of as for maybe a possibility for a continuation move, right? So kind of what I'm thinking of right now is that the market comes up to this level, 24,910, and then continues to the downside. Okay, that would be one hypothesis. Okay, come into value and then work our way lower. Okay. Another one would be that we use this as kind of more of a temporary location, and we get price to close back inside the range, okay, and then maybe that offers us an opportunity for maybe a rotation of value because the market has indeed been in some sort of range of late. But in order for me to really embrace that view, I need to see price come back inside the area of value from yesterday. At which point that could offer me an opportunity where I see price rotate all the way through this value range that we've established. Okay, so just a couple of hypotheses that I have in the Nasdaq. Okay, cannot deny the fact that we are in some sort of bearish structure. I don't necessarily want to fight, and try to kind of buy the bottoms in hopes that I'm the one that's going to cause price to reverse here. But if I do start to get some evidence that price is able to rally above the value area low, above my 9 EMA, above my VWAP, then I have price telling me or dictate to me that I am moving from a market that looks a little bit on the bearish side to a market that maybe is looking to move into some sort of range and maybe provide me some sort of bullish opportunity. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a quick peek here at the ADR because I do feel like we might have reached some levels here, and sure enough, we have. Okay, so we have already reached the ADR low here. So I'm going to temper my expectations for the market to continue to the downside. Can it move to the downside? Statistically, it's saying that it's reached an area where maybe we won't see that. Okay, that we could see maybe some consolidation and potentially price reversing away from this area. We've already gotten a little bit of reaction away from this area. It would not surprise me if this area would hold around 24,800 and offer us maybe a rotation back to VWAP, maybe back to the other side of the value range. And that is also an area of where we have our settlement price. So while I would say my view on this still remains bearish. Okay, I'm going to give it a kind of a bearish rating here for now. But if I do start to see evidence, then I could see myself maybe looking for an opportunity that would at least rotate back to the settlement price. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move into our ES. Okay, we'll take a look at ES and see. Again, looks very similar to what we just saw in the Dow. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to go ahead and close this off. There's that gap that I had mentioned, right? We opened with a gap lower. Okay, again, indicating that there are people in the market who are willing, okay, to pay a premium to be a part of this market to the downside. It appears that we've kind of filled this gap for the most part, maybe leaving a little bit of area where price is not visited here around 69.20. So I would say that that area right there, 69.20, probably is going to serve as some sort of area of some sort of resistance. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark that level in red. Okay, 69.20. I know we are trading already down in this 68.50, 68.60 level, but I would expect that this 69.20 level, based on the daily chart, to be some level of resistance. I do have already kind of a downside target around here, around 6,800, 6,780. That would be kind of a downside target here on the daily. All right, moving into the 4-hour chart on the ES. Again, you can see that we've kind of reached that ADR low level that I had mentioned. We're going to go ahead and turn that off here for a moment, and then collapse this here, and also turn off our initial balance range. Okay, a lot of things going on this chart. So we got back into that 69.20 level, and we're starting to create some structure that would indicate maybe the market is looking to head lower. Okay. We are coming into maybe this, another temporary area of some support. This is an area where we have seen, we have found buyers in the past. The question is, they're not giving us a whole lot of evidence that they're looking to step back in here. Okay. And if they're not looking to step back in, then I would say that this 6780 seems the next 6800 seems to be the next logical level for price to come to. Okay. If we're not going to see buyers kind of step in around this current level, 6840, 6860, then the next logical level for price to go to is the 6800 level. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, similar to what we saw in the NASDAQ, you can see that we're in some bearish structure to the downside. We're below our moving averages. Our DMI is giving us indication that there's a fair amount of momentum to the downside. Looking at our volume delta, we're not seeing the same amount of volume that we were seeing earlier to the downside. We are coming into an area where statistically we would expect price to stall. And so far it has, right? We're starting to see a little bit in the way of some buying wicks coming in, indicating that there are maybe buyers that have come in and started to step into this market. Seeing a rotation back to VWAP and looking for an opportunity there for a continuation move does not seem like a bad play to me. Okay. That would be kind of a logical move, right? Coming back to potential area of strength and looking for a continuation move at an area like VWAP, or we have certainly settlement that's way a little bit above us here. But that would be kind of my first kind of inclination, is that we get some sort of rotation, some sort of retracement back to VWAP, and then we get some sort of continuation move here to the downside, because we are, I would say, a little bit extended, okay, to the downside. And we'll go ahead and take a look here at the Tokyo. Tokyo was pretty much range bound. London offered us, looks like is I guess the main participants that are currently driving price lower. So again, the initial balance low again offers us maybe another location where we can maybe entertain price here to the downside. Okay, you too, Arizona. That could be another location where we can entertain price to the downside. Okay. So around the 6,900 level. So we have our areas, right? 6,880, 6,900 as a couple of spots maybe to entertain shorts trades. If we're really thinking about longs, well, we have a level here, ADR, that could offer us a location, right, for a reversal in price back up to those levels. We don't have to risk all that much, right? I would say that if we were to take an opportunity here at these levels. Not saying that we're getting the price action necessarily. I'm looking at the 15-minute chart here to see we did get a little bullish candle here, but we probably need to see price get above our 9 EMA before we start to entertain the possibility of price rotating through and above to the other in the other direction. Okay. All right. So we're going to go with our continued kind of bearish kind of rating here on the ES. I don't think I've seen any evidence as yet, or enough evidence, I should say, to indicate that maybe the market is going to look to maybe rotate higher. Okay. Again, my first checkpoint would be, can price get above 6870? That would be my first checkpoint, and that's above the 9 EMA. Okay. That's the first thing I need to see. If I can't get above the 9 EMA, then I'm probably in some sort of structure that wants to continue lower. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here at the final market before we summarize kind of our view across all the markets. We'll go ahead and take a look at the Dow. The Dow, similar kind of thing that we saw in the Dow, or the similar kind of thing we're seeing in the Dow, also, or except what we saw in the ES and the NASDAQ, we're also seeing in the Dow. Okay. And that what I'm about to say here is that we received a gap open to the downside. Okay. Again, indicating that there does appear to be some sort of interest in this market to the downside, and they're willing to pay a premium to be a part of it. Okay. Now, I don't know if I had mentioned this before, but I am seeing, again, maybe we're not quite there yet, But again, we have what appears to be maybe developing head and shoulder pattern. This area here serving as the shoulder, this here area here serving as the head, and maybe a little bit more price action that we need to kind of develop the right shoulder here. But I do see that a market that's in range. I do see a market that maybe could be given an indication that might be topping here. Okay, probably a little bit more in the way of some candles here. Where I would say that we're only about maybe a third of the way through the development of the right shoulder. And if I take maybe a look at this and say maybe this is my neckline, if I do a measurement from here to here, let's say, okay, well, it could lead to a move down to here, okay, right down to the 47,250 level, assuming that this plays out, okay. Moving to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, same kind of view here that I'm seeing, kind of maybe some bearish structure that's beginning to develop here. We're going to go ahead and turn off my ribbons here. Actually, we'll keep our ribbons on for a second. Okay, you can see that price is below all our moving averages to the downside, and you can see that price is now kind of following this 9 EMA. We're seeing a good amount of volume on the volume delta to the downside, and our DMI is kind of indicating that there's a fair amount of momentum in this move to the downside. So a lot of things pointing lower in the Dow. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, similar to what we were saying on the ES and the NASDAQ. We are seeing a market that seems to be a bit bearish at the moment. We're just going to visually look at this and say, okay, well, it looks like Asia, for the most part, was neutral. London came in also kind of bearish, okay, similar to what we saw in the NAS and the ES, okay. Taking a look here and see, I'm just going to kind of spot check where we're at. Again, similar kind of thing. We've kind of exceeded the range here, right? We did take a peek below this ADR. Haven't really developed the same kind of bullish candle that we developed in these other markets. So indicating that maybe there is a little bit of strength here in this move. But the expectation is, since this is a statistical range, that maybe there will be a little bit of slowdown in the momentum to the downside. I say maybe because we are extended. Okay, we are extended to the downside. And it would not surprise me a bit if this little average daily range low did not provide us some sort of rally back to maybe VWAP before we see a maybe continuation move to the downside. Okay, so I'm more inclined, rather than sell in the hole, I'm really looking to see if we get maybe sell some strength up at these levels above us. The 9 EMA, VWAP, the 20 EMA. They could offer us some locations where we could maybe participate in, okay? So, again, similar kind of view that we had in the NASDAQ and the ES. I think the similar view here, I think right now, the sentiment does appear to be a bit on the bearish side in this market. It's not to say that we cannot rally from here. Actually, I do expect a little bit of a rally, to be honest. We do appear to be a bit extended here to the downside. So it would not surprise me in a bit if we did rally maybe up to this 49,200 level before we continued any downside move in this market. Okay. All right. With that, let's take one final look. I'm kind of taking a peek here to see if there's any questions. We're going to take one final peek across the various markets here. Let's take a look here at the gold, kind of summarizing our view. So again, we're starting to see maybe a little bit in the way of a market that has moved from a market that's been pretty neutral to a market that's looking a bit bullish. I've already kind of identified my levels. We've already reached the ADR above me. So obviously this area around 5260, 5280, my expectation is that those areas are going to be a little bit resistant. So I'm going to be patient and see if the market offers me an opportunity to the bullish side. I have the 5215 as an area for that. Okay, that would be a logical area for me to participate in this market. We have the 9 EMA here around 5220. That would be another logical location to participate. But I do see a market that maybe is moving from a market that's been neutral to a market that maybe is giving us some signs of some bullish price action for the day here. Okay, taking a look at the silver market. Silver market also giving us the same kind of view. And we've already exceeded the top of this ADR high. Okay, so again, if price is able, I would say that's about probably even more bullish than what we were seeing in the gold market. Okay, if price were to remain above the ADR high here. Okay, let's go ahead and draw this line right here. Okay, this area right here could offer us a logical location for a continuation move at 92.16. Okay, 92.16 seems like to be a logical location. The other one, and this is kind of something that I've used as well, is I could take the retracement of this single candle, okay, and look for the 50% range. Okay, so the 50% range brings us into this 91.75 level. That's another area. So I have a couple of areas. If I'm truly a believer of this move, and there's evidence below that I should believe. Okay, 3,000 buy orders came into this market at that moment in time. So having price come to the 50% range of this candle here could offer us a location for a continuation move to the upside. Okay, let's go ahead and remove those drawings here. So I would say on the silver market, I would say that given some of this price action that I'm bullish. Okay, I just need to find a location where I can participate, maybe in a continuation move in this market. Take a look at crude oil. Crude oil, again, also, I would say is showing signs of some bullish price action. We noticed that the daily was actually breaking some levels. We've already identified some levels at 67 and 66.70. Those are a couple levels that we could use as an area for a continuation move. So I would say that I'm bullish on the crude oil. And then across all the equities, I'm seeing some signs of bearish price action. Okay, so again, that little temporary reversal we got from the ADR seems to have been short-lived. Market has seems to maybe picked up its where it left off and continued to the downside. So I would say that Nasdaq, sentiment-wise, it currently seems to be a bit on the bearish side, as well as the ES, as well, and ultimately the Dow, all giving us indications that the market is still in some sort of bearish structure here. Okay, so bullish on the metals, bullish on the crude. I would say that I'm looking somewhat bearish on the equity markets as a whole here. Okay, so I'm just going to pause here to see if there's any questions of anyone. If not, we'll just go ahead and close this session as we close most sessions, and that is trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Okay, so have a excellent day trading here, guys. Again, Fridays are not the days to kind of recover any losses. If you've had a good day, it's probably kind of a day that we should be a bit tight with our capital. Okay, and make sure that we close the week on a positive note. Okay. So with that, have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again on Monday. Okay.